Imagine walking through a dark forest at sunset and hearing a baby crying where no people live. No village, no huts, only trees and whispering wind. That is how this story began. This is the story of the baby who never grew older. In the village of Luma, people believed the forest was alive. They said spirits watched every traveler who entered its shadow. Some spirits were kind, others were not. Kofi was a quiet hunter who lived on the edge of the village with his wife, Amma. They had no children, though they had prayed for many years. Still, they lived peacefully, sharing what little they had. One evening, Kofi was returning home through the forest with only a small bundle of firewood. The sun was dropping fast, and the trees were turning black against the orange sky. Then he heard it, a baby crying. Kofi froze. The sound was thin and weak, like a tiny voice lost in the wind. He looked around, expecting to see a frightened mother nearby. But there was no one. The crying came again. Kofi followed the sound through the bushes until he reached a fallen tree. There, wrapped in a faded red cloth, lay a small baby. The child's cheeks were wet with tears, but the moment Kofi lifted him, the crying stopped. The baby stared up at him with bright, calm eyes. Kofi felt a strange warmth in his chest. "Who left you here, little one?" he whispered. There were no footprints, no basket, no sign anyone had passed that way. Only silence. Kofi carried the baby home. Amma gasped when she saw him holding the child. "A baby?" she breathed. "I found him alone in the forest," Kofi said softly. "We cannot leave him to die." Amma held the child close, and tears filled her eyes. "Perhaps the spirits have heard our prayers." They named him Tano, which meant third blessing, for they believed he was the blessing that came after hope and patience. For the first few weeks, everything seemed normal. Tano slept, cried, and laughed like any other baby. The neighbors came with gifts and songs. The small house felt full of joy. But after many months, Amma noticed something strange. Tano did not grow. His clothes still fit exactly the same. His face did not change. His tiny hands stayed just as small. "At first I thought I was imagining it," Amma whispered to Kofi one night. "But look, he is exactly the same." Kofi watched the sleeping child and felt a chill crawl along his back. Another year passed. Other children in the village learned to walk and talk, but Tano remained a baby, smiling, watching but never changing. The villagers began to whisper, "That forest child is not normal. Maybe he belongs to the spirits. Keeping him may bring trouble." Amma cried when she heard the rumors, but she refused to abandon the child. "He is ours," she said. "Whatever he is, we will love him." One night, during the season of heavy winds, Kofi woke suddenly. The hut was quiet, but a soft, golden glow filled the room. He sat up. Tano was no longer lying down. The baby was sitting upright on the floor. Light shimmered gently around him, like sunlight dancing on water. The air felt warm and still. Kofi's voice trembled. "Amma, wake up!" Amma opened her eyes and gasped. Tano looked at them, and when he spoke, his voice was calm and ancient, not the voice of a child. "Do not be afraid," he said. "I came from the forest to test your hearts." Amma clutched Kofi's arm, unable to speak. "For many years," the baby continued, "the spirits watched this village. Some people turned away strangers. Some closed their doors to the weak. But you carried a crying child home without fear." The golden light grew brighter, filling every corner of the hut. "Kindness given without question," Tano said softly, "is never forgotten." Tears rolled down Amma's face. "Will you leave us?" she whispered. The baby smiled, a gentle, knowing smile far older than his tiny face. "My time here is finished." The light suddenly swirled like warm wind through the room. Outside, the trees rustled, though the night was still. "Tomorrow morning," Tano said, "step outside your door." The glow became so bright that Kofi and Amma had to cover their eyes. When the light faded, the baby was gone. Only the red cloth remained on the floor. Amma fell to her knees, crying softly, while Kofi held her in silence. At sunrise, they slowly opened their door. Amma gasped. Where their dry, empty land had been, green crops stretched across the soil. Tall maize, fresh vegetables, and fruit trees heavy with color filled their small field. Near the hut, a clear stream of water now flowed where there had only been dust before. Neighbors gathered in shock. "This land was barren yesterday," one man whispered. Kofi understood then. The forest had not taken their child. The forest had blessed them. From that day on, no one in Kofi's house ever went hungry. Travelers who passed through Luma were always given food and water, for Kofi and Amma never forgot the night they found a crying baby in the forest. And sometimes, on quiet evenings when the wind moved gently through the trees, Amma swore she could hear a baby's soft laugh carried in the air. Not sad, not lonely, but warm and grateful. The elders of Luma still tell this story to their children. They say the forest watches every heart, and when you help the helpless without asking why, the world itself may answer with a blessing. So if you ever hear a cry in the dark, remember Kofi's story, because the smallest act of kindness can change your life forever. Tell me in the comments, would you have taken the baby home? And don't forget to like and subscribe for more African folktales and magical stories.